Good afternoon, YouTube. Matt M. Roy back once again, back to here on a very cold, very rainy Virginia winter day. You can hear my allergies are really acting up right now. Interestingly enough, I'm wearing a shirt from my local high school. I was never officially part of any of the sports teams, but I did find this at one of the thrift stores, and now that I fit in it, I figured, you know what? Let me go ahead and wear the thing. You know what I forgot? What did I do with it? Let me get my light real quick. Shed some light on the situation here. I love this thing, by the way. Got this from Boscov's in Binghamton, New York. This light is awesome. Really super bright, runs on, I think, 3 AA batteries, and it's adjustable. It's got an adjustable head. It's called the iZoom, I think. Yeah, iZoom light. You can see it right there. I just angle it down so you guys and gals can see me a little bit more. Okay, so I had a lot of people commenting recently. I'm not going to name names, but they were saying that they enjoy the vlog style videos that I do. Eric's here from lunch again. I kind of figured I'd get some of you guys and gals from lunch. They say that they really enjoy the vlog style videos that I do. Basically, when I film technology videos, vlogs, maybe working on a computer, going thrift store hunting, and they say that's why they come to this channel. Well, that's all good and everything, but the problem that I've been having recently is time. When you have a pallet of computers, 40 computers to refurbish, your time can be very valuable. Not only that, I have to deal with repair calls. I have to deal with, trying to get content for you guys out there. It just all becomes too much. So once again, live streams are really the best way for me to answer not only a lot of questions at once, but to interact with everybody as well. So that being said, I'm feeling generous today, folks. And lately I've not been feeling very generous. I'm going to try to move up here a little bit. Which is not a good thing. Weather kind of gets you down sometimes. So what I want to do is I want to answer your questions. I know we got 5 people here right now. What do you guys have for me? What do you guys and gals having a computer problem? Doesn't have to necessarily be about a computer. It could be anything. Vintage electronics, cassette players, CD players, what have you. Yeah, I'm just looking at this light. Let me try to get that a little bit better. Oh, that's almost perfect now. Mark Covington's here. Nice. Eric's here. Got 1 like so far. Another thing that I will tell you, and if it doesn't improve, I may have to rethink my whole YouTube strategy. Ad revenue this year is way down, and I mean way down, even more than it has been in past years. And it's not just me. I think kid behind the camera, what is it, Jesse, the psycho dad guy, they're all saying the same thing, that ad revenue is way down this year. Now, I don't know if that's because YouTube is having trouble renegotiating their AdSense contracts, or if it's just that they're not being as generous. YouTube might have decided, and I haven't heard anything official, but year to year they'll change the profit sharing, where for many years it's been like a 60-40 split. We get 60% of the ad revenue, they get 40. But I've heard for many years they were thinking of upping it to 70-30, like a 50-50, where we would get 50%, they would get 50%. So I don't know what's going to happen here in the future. That's why I'm letting you guys know right now. I'm never going to leave YouTube. It's not going to happen. It's very therapeutic for me. I enjoy making content, whether it's vlogs or live streams, doesn't matter what it is. But if the AdSense revenue doesn't improve, then I may have to consider cutting back drastically on the content that I upload. And it's nothing against you guys. My fan base out there is great. You guys and gals are great. I love you guys. I'm glad you guys come to my videos, that you enjoy watching the videos. However, I have to look at the big picture. And if YouTube is not going to be profitable, a profitable venture for me going into the future, then I'm going to have to put that time and money elsewhere. Because believe it or not, I spend more money making these YouTube videos than I actually bring in. On average, actually, we figured it out. I spend anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 a year, just making YouTube videos. And believe it or not, I don't make that much in ad revenue. So once again, I may have to switch things up a bit, but we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that maybe I'll get a couple of sponsors. I'm actually actively looking for people to sponsor my channel. But we'll just have to see what happens. Eric's Friday channel. My AdSense page doesn't update but once a month, and it starts to worry me when I didn't see it increasing. You and me both, Eric. This is the first year in a very long time that I am actually not going to get paid for January. In other words, I didn't meet that threshold, which for those of you that may or may not know, generally it's $100 that you have to make for 1 month before they pay out. And I did not make that this month. So my ad revenue is really down at the moment. Hopefully, if I can make and create some more interesting content for you guys, if you can spread the word, tell people about my channel that you know that might enjoy this type of content. If I can get my viewers up and my subscriber base up, then I might be able to make a go of it. I mean, ideally, I would love to make this channel mutually beneficial for me and for you. If I could make this my daily job where I wouldn't have to do anything else but make YouTube videos, that would be a dream. I would love to be able to do that. I spent over $100 to make the dash cam video, just buying the camera and ending up making like $11 off of it. That's the thing. You have to be extremely lucky. You have to be an extremely talented and lucky person to be able to make a living off of YouTube. Most people think it's easy. They're like, oh, heck, I'll make a YouTube channel. I'll find that little niche and I'll make my living off of it. Doesn't work that way. In the early days, yes. In the very early days, it used to work that way, where, you know, if you were one of the very few elite high-end viewers, you had like high-end viewership, you had a lot of subscribers in the early days, yeah, you were making bank. You were making probably $1 million a year, but it's grown so much and there's so much competition on YouTube that if you don't it's almost like the billionaire or the millionaire condition, where if you don't already have the money to invest in your videos into your channel, then it's near impossible to make it your primary source of income. Ray Beats. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. What is your channel about? It is a variety channel. I do a little bit of everything. Technology videos, food reviews. I've done cooking videos. I do vlogs, podcasts, whatever I like, basically. And it has to be something that I enjoy and that you guys and gals will like too. Well, I think I already answered that, Mark. Make sure you're paying attention. But yeah, it's very hard to make videos and make it your daily job. If you haven't gotten that viewership already, then very hard to make it your primary source of income. Well, getting off topic here, what do you want to ask me? Because I'm trying to make this a technology video. So if you have a question, just put it in the live chat window and I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. Ray Beats, I swear you've been in one of my live streams before. Maybe I've actually seen your channel. Your name seemed familiar though. I'll have to look that up. I like that. I really like what Eric said. I don't do it for the money, but the money does determine how I do videos. That's very important because if you're not making at least some of your money back, then most people can't afford to do these videos all the time. It can't happen. I mean, I wish I was a millionaire. Honestly, if I was, then the content and the quality of the content would greatly increase. I'm just looking up Ray Beats channel. Okay, I probably watched a few of your videos in the past. It's funny. Everybody asks me, "Well, do you watch my channel? Do you watch my channel?" And I usually do, but I don't remember the names. Like I'll watch YouTube content, but you know what? I may forget who the actual person that put it up is, and I'm bad with that. But I'm bad with names. I've always have been. I kicked on AdSense for a year, but they booted me a while back. Yeah, it's another thing. If you don't make content that YouTube deems family friendly, then a lot of times they'll just kick you off the AdSense thing altogether. Did you see the comment I made about comparing the Dell Optiplex 3010 to the 3020? No. As far as I know, we were talking about that the last live. We were talking about the BIOS glitch in the 3020s, where if you're on the original AO2 BIOS, you can't flash it to a newer version because you can't do a soft reboot. As far as I know, that glitch is only with the Dell Optiplex 3020. I don't think the 3010 was affected on that one. Eric Brunhammer, what would you say is the most significant tech product of the last decade? Interesting. Would have to be the smartphone. And yes, I know officially the smartphone started the decade before because now we're in 2020 and technically the iPhone came out in 2007. However, most people did not adapt or adopt the smartphone until about 2010, 2012. So within the last decade would have to be the smartphone. I mean, you can do almost anything with your smartphone now. You can pay bills. You can surf the internet. You can take pictures. You can take video. It's truly an all-in-one device, similar to what Gene Roddenberry had in Star Trek. I mean, to me, it's kind of like the tricorder, but even more so than that. Charlie Lipinski, I mostly watch your tech videos, Matt, but sometimes watch your others. Do you think if I watch some of your other videos here and it will help you significantly? I'm sure it would. People don't realize that the more viewers you get, the more the YouTube algorithm is apt to put your videos higher in the search results. So yes, the short answer to that is yes. No, I'm not the one that does the custom built PCs, not the snazzy ones anyway. But I'm flattered you thought that. No, I mainly do refurbished systems. So I buy computers in bulk from liquidation companies, and I refurbish them. So I break them down, clean them, reapply thermal paste to the CPUs, change out the CMOS batteries, maybe update some of the BIOS chips if they need it. And then I basically upgrade them with SSDs, stuff like that. I very, very rarely will do a custom built. And the reason being is there's not as much money. There is more money in selling refurbished computers than there is building new custom builds. I mean, it's more fun to do that, but I have to, at this point in my life, I have to be realistic. I have to chase the profit. And really, it's like any other business. You can have your fun, that's fine, but at the end of the day, you have to make your bottom line. No, Charlie said, "Did you see the video I sent you on Facebook to possibly get past the O2 BIOS revision?" No, I haven't. I haven't checked Facebook today. I really haven't had a chance. Probably was Ray Ray Beats. Probably was some refurbishment video that I did. Love Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You want to know? You want to know something funny? That's probably probably my least favorite Star Trek series. I love the Next Generation. It's either that or Voyager. Nah, I'd have to say Voyager. Voyager was just way too out there. But Deep Space Nine is definitely above Voyager for me. So for me, from with Star Trek going from the worst to the best, and I'm not even counting Enterprise. I never watched it. I probably never will. But of the ones that I have watched actively, worst to best, we're talking Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation. Well, no, original series and Next Generation, because Next Generation is my tops all-time favorite. I'm brutal. Oh man, no, you can't say that. I'm giving you my honest opinion here. I mean, I could lie to you, I could schmooze you and say, oh yeah, Deep Space Nine is the greatest. But no, I'm an honest person. Always have been, probably always will be. Hope to always be anyway. You got to watch Next Generation. It is awesome. There are arguments out there whether or not that or the original series is the best, but most of the major, like Internet Movie Database, most of the major critics will argue that Next Generation was slightly better than the original series. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the original series only ran for 3 seasons. I mean, you got to remember, people always forget that. So it is what it is. You know, we all have our own opinions. Quark is the best. He was definitely an entrepreneur. He was the one that could make something out of nothing. And that's I guess that's what Ferengis were. But it's funny. I knew eventually in one of these live streams we would get to Star Trek. And I would not consider myself a Trekkie. Like, you have these people out there that have to watch Star Trek. Like, they have every single Star Trek piece of memorabilia. Hell, they probably have Star Trek dishware for their dinner plates. That's not me. I enjoy it because I do enjoy watching sci-fi on occasions, but you know, if I couldn't watch another episode of Star Trek for the rest of my life, wouldn't really kill me. Yeah, Ray, let's try to keep it friendly here. All right, no talk like that. That is really funny, though, actually. I'm not going to read it, though. No, we're going to keep this family friendly. If you guys are curious, that's Milo sleeping on the bed. Typical thing that cats do. Man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut it off in about 30 minutes, though, because I do have to run some errands this afternoon. I kind of got tied up yesterday at a job. I had to go over twice. I set up a laptop for somebody, and I inadvertently forgot to put the Bluetooth adapter in, so I had to go back over there. Actually, it wound up being 3 times, but it's all good. You know, it's the what's a good word for it? It's what you have to do in business. Charlie Lipinski asks, what version Dell Optiplex do you think is the best one ever? Oh man, that is so hard to answer. If I had to pick one, probably what is it? The GX110, I believe it was. It's a GX1, or it was one of the original ones. It was a Pentium 3 based Dell Optiplex, and it was the ones you would see in the doctor's offices a lot back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was white. It had kind of a curved down front like that. Those things were beasts. They could last forever. If I pick a more modern one, then probably the Dell Optiplex 780 by far was one of the more reliable of the Optiplex line. Got 7 people here. And you know, it's hit and miss at lunchtime because a lot of people are working through their lunch hours now, and that's another thing about our society and as a whole now. We are kind of at a point we were so okay. What's the word that I'm looking for? Competitive, that a lot of times we won't even bother eating lunch. We'll just work through lunch. Having an argument about something. I don't know. But anyway, so technology questions. Anybody out there? We got 7 watchers. I know somebody's got a comment. That's right, Eric. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that. Either it was either in one of your videos that was dedicated to it, or it might have been in one of the videos where you showed your old storage space. I can't remember which, but I do remember seeing one of those in there. And I was going to ask you if that's what that was, like a GX1. Let me. Is it a G? It was a GX100 or a 110? Because I thought it was one of the two. Charlie, yeah, the Optiplex 755, it was hit or miss with those. I had gotten quite a few of those in the past, and I had a lot of them with motherboard failures, premature motherboard failures. But I noticed that it depended on where they were made. I think there were 2 or 3 factories that made the Optiplex 755 back in the day. We're talking like early 2000s. And the 2 factories that did it right. You know, they all were good, but the third one, whatever the motherboards they got in, they tended to be really faulty. And I don't, it didn't really make sense to me either, because you would think that they would all get their motherboards from the same source, but I guess they didn't. And Dell in the early 2000s was really famous for this. Dell did it, and so did Gateway. Not only did they source their components for one model from different sources, sometimes they would actually use used or slightly pre-owned components. Like maybe they have a motherboard out of a computer that they were using on their tech bench, and they would actually take that and they would put that in one of their new systems. Gateway did that, and so did Dell. Look it up. There are a lot of old videos about that. A lot of old news articles, a lot of news stations like ABC, NBC back in the day actually did some reports on it. It was like what they called an expose back then. No idea what model it was. All I know is it had a SCSI system that I didn't know how to get working. Okay, no, that's a totally different system, because the one that I'm thinking of, those weren't SCSI, at least not to the best of my knowledge. At least they weren't like all SCSI. I think a few of them did have the SCSI card, the expansion card for plugging in peripherals, because back then it was very common to have a SCSI CD burner, a SCSI external hard drive. If you're talking about like a whole thing to where the drive, the optical drive, the internal hard drive was SCSI, no, the one that I'm thinking of was definitely IDE. Mark says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Mark. Always appreciated. Minecrafter6323 says hi. Coming in a little late, but that's okay. So, technology. Again, I'm going to keep referring back to it because I know I'll get off topic if I'm not careful. Ray Beats, how many computers do you own right now? Well, ones that I own and use on a daily basis, about 4 or 5. So I got this one, the XPS, the Dell, the 2 Dell Optiplex 3020 i3s that are here, and then one is my media center PC, and then I have my 2 laptops. But you know, I have that palette of computers. So if I in the house right now, I don't know, maybe 40 or so computers. But you know what, guys? It is getting late, and I'm sorry I didn't quite make it to 25 minutes, but I'm going to have to end it here. Thank you for coming. I want to give you guys a little something, kind of sink your teeth into. Definitely look out for some more videos coming in the near future. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.